What up, y'all? It's your man SamAnt here at Viral Hip Hop News. We are live on this Saturday evening for another artist spotlight. I love doing these, man, because like I said, not only do I get to talk to musicians, I get to talk to independent entrepreneurs. We talked to a good brother by the name of James earlier with his comic book, and right now I got the brother RapTalk from RapTalk Poetry on YouTube about to join the room. Y'all go ahead and hit that like button, share this video, and in the description box, once we are in the interview and you start really vibing and enjoying this brother's content and what he has to say, go down into the description box and make sure you subscribe to his platform. This is what it's all about. We're going to support each other. We're going to make sure we take care of one another. We're going to make sure we do the goddamn thing the right way. But before we get started, y'all know what to do. Go ahead and drop them area codes in the chat. Let me know where you're listening. Let me know where you're watching. As we go through the interview, I will make sure to shout y'all out and throw y'all in there. But without further ado, we're going to bring on my man RapTalk on the show. What it do, brother? How you feeling?
What up, dog?
Feeling, man.
What's good? How you feel?
I feel good, brother. Happy to have you on, man. Thank you for trusting my platform to provide, you know what I mean, you and your content with a little more of an audience, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And for the people who don't know you, man, for the people that are... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Now, I'm about to say, first off, I appreciate you, brother, for opening up your platform to brothers like me. You know, I appreciate you. So that's right back at you. I just want you to know that all the time. I appreciate you.
It's a true honor, man. Likewise, brother, for sure. So for the people who don't know, man, introduce yourself. Let them know who you are. Let them know what you do.
All right. I go by the name of RapTalk. I'm a spoken word artist, born and raised here in Detroit, Michigan. And pretty much my style of poetry, first of all, I'm going to give a backstory of how I gathered the name RapTalk.
Yes, sir.
First off top, I just want to let everybody know I'm a hip hop baby, love music, grew up on music, just, you know, just a hip hop, just a student of the game. So, you know, being that growing up in the age bracket, I like poetry. It's like my whole lane of poetry is like a fine line between rap and poetry. And then once you hear some of my poetry, it's nothing but a conversation. So that's how I gathered the name RapTalk. I do spoken word. I just get in, I try to have a message, motivation, just give people something to think about. The goal is to take poetry to a whole nother level and beyond.
So when did you start getting into writing, and when did you realize poetry was something that you wanted to do?
Well, I actually, when I was younger, of course, every hip hop kid, you know, we all wanted to rap when we was coming up. Right. So, you know,
yep.
You know, everybody dibble dabbled in that because it was just a phase that was just taking over the streets, especially during our times. Word. So, you know, I used to doodle in my little notebook at school. You know, I write some rhymes here and there, or I just write out other MC rhymes and I just put my name in there, you know, with Easy name, and I put my name in there or stuff like that. But I used to like to express myself a lot and just write. So then I just took it on as just steady, just writing. That even as the years went by, when I stopped pursuing like trying to be a rapper and things like that, you know, when it's age and all that stuff kick in, you got to face reality. Like you can just create your own lane, and that's what I'm doing with this whole RapTalk lane right here. This is my lane right here. This is a clear path because I can still get my point across and speak, but I can still be hip hop and I can still be edgy and just still bring it abroad. So I always just was a writer and just a student of lyrics. So I just flipped it into poetry coming from the rap and hip hop phase.
Dope. Who were some of the artists that you looked up to growing up in Detroit? Was it like a lot of Detroit scene music, or did you kind of go and venture elsewhere and like hip hop and other spaces as well?
Actually, it was a little bit of both.
Right.
But I can't share this with you though. I can't share this with you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Like coming up, like in the early 90s and stuff like that, of course it was some Detroit artists that was moving and shaking. Like you had people, like I like the conscious artists, like I don't know if you're up on people like Chaos and Maestro, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of different people that was moving and shaking. But I'm gonna tell you the truth, bro. It wasn't even as cool as it was like it is now to say that you listening, that you really into Detroit music like that, because it's like they'll consider like homemade videos and stuff like that. But full circle, That's what everybody doing right now. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But to your actual question, I was influenced by both. I was influenced by rappers like Nas. I like storytellers. Nas, Scarface, E40, Jay-Z, Prodigy, Mobb Deep. I like storytellers. I like people who paint a picture. And I'm also influenced by a lot of R&B also, but I definitely, as far as hip hop, those are some of the artists. And what I want to bring it to about the whole Detroit factor that you asked me about, how I was inspired by their hustle. I was inspired by how Detroit people was moving and still creating, even though we couldn't compete as much with like the New York stuff. Because a lot of people don't understand is it wasn't as many resources as it is now to say you're a rapper and create a video and make a song and just be out here. So I definitely admire the hustle of people in Detroit like Eshawn, Choice Most Wanted, Cass and Maestro. It was a lot of different people around here. Like I say, Trick, even though he was on the Booty Shake back then, y'all probably know him for a lot of other stuff now, but back then he was doing the Booty Shake stuff for the clubs and stuff like that. So I always respected their hustle.
Where you're the second person from Detroit I spoke to in a week. I talked to my man Wano, who's a rapper out there in Detroit, and he said the same thing about Detroit. Y'all some hustlers. And I don't mean y'all out there slinging dope or anything. No, y'all find ways to make sure that independence reigns clear, and y'all are out here getting money, man. Y'all moving and shaking from the way y'all dress to the way y'all move to the way y'all talk, man. So much respect to Detroit, bro, for real. Never been there, but I look
appreciate that, yeah.
No doubt. So
go ahead.
No, you go ahead, brother, please.
Oh, no, I was about to say, like you say, the influence of Detroit, that one word, like they say, swag. Our swag is being seen in so many other cities. Mm-hmm. That's why we kind of felt just a little tug of war, because we knew so much of our style was being seen on so many other platforms by other people. And like right now, full circle, I'm noticing that even though I'm not a rapper, but like I noticed a lot of the other Detroit rappers, they're being copied now from people in other cities by their whole lingo and how these younger people here in Detroit is rapping with the little offbeat style and all that. Mm-hmm. And I noticed people in other cities, they're kind of catching on to that. So respect to them.
Word. Talk about how Detroit and Michigan influenced you growing up. You know what I mean? Just kind of seeing the area and growing up in that environment. How did that influence you to get into rap talk poetry?
Many ways, because I needed an outlet. I needed to express myself.
Right.
I mean, as a kid, it's only so much playing basketball and a couple things you could do. And then our era, spending time, when you spend time out doing things and socializing, you get an influence, because when you come out your house, you meet people, you build relationships, you talk to people, and everybody not raised the same. And Detroit is like that. It's like you could have a nice household right here, but next door to you might be a dope spot or whatever. There's somebody else down the street. They might be running a business or something. Right. But we all play on the same blocks as kids, and we all have different stories. And just growing up in Detroit, just seeing so much, it's like I had to just paint pictures. Like I try to just dissect information from people, but then I had a lot of emotions in myself also. So I'm like, I gotta push this out. And then plus I used to spend a lot of time alone too, just thinking. And I think that kind of built me up to express myself. Because if you ask a lot of people that probably know me, it's like different levels. But I say for the most part, some people will probably be like, okay, he cool, but he like quiet.
Right.
But during all that time, I'm like listening and sucking up game, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like this information. And as you grow older, you want to express yourself being an artist. You're going to find a way to push it out as an artist. So Detroit did that. They gave me a lot of stories. I synced a lot. So.
Word. You just talking just now, kind of, there's a lot of similarities that you and I have, because a lot of people, they see me speaking on Viral, they see me talking on the podcast with my cousin, they think that's just me talking all the time. But naturally, I'm a quiet dude that kind of pays attention, and I watch and I observe, and I that game. I'm the fly on the wall, just kind of watching and observing everybody's moves and their traits and absorbing all that info. So I definitely relate to you on that. And another thing you said that I definitely relate to is, one, you said that R&B was a heavy influence on you, as was mine, because I'm an R&B singer and I grew up loving R&B. A certain level of vulnerability that comes with R&B. that us men, in particular black men, don't often get to show, right? Because we always got to have this hard exterior. But when you get into R&B music, you can show that level of vulnerability where it's actually highlighted and shined. Also in poetry as well. So talk about that.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, you're right.
Absolutely. So talk about that, man. How do you kind of, I don't know if you had a shell, but kind of broke that shell and got vulnerable with your poetry, and how that worked for you?
Actually, it's like, okay, younger, I did a couple of talent shows. That's why I first called my bug at for performers. I never forget. I think I was like in high school. I got like in a talent show, and I just remember, I mean, first of all, a lot of people probably like surprised I was in a talent show because, like you say, like people that know you for one thing, and then I remember just coming out the back of the stage because a couple of my homeboys was up there already doing their thing, but I was like a part of their act. So I came out. I'd never forget. I just came out the back of the stage and just hearing so many people just screaming. You know, I'm already a kid. You know, I'm young. I'm a teenager.
Right.
So you know that attention bug. You just feeling that. So I'm knowing like, okay, these people that know me and they looking like, this before I even say a word, they just seeing my presence.
Right.
So that's when I caught the bug for it. And then as time just went on, I just was like writing more. And then to your question, like the vulnerability of just opening up, it's like it's going to come sooner or later, especially when you be your authentic self. Because when you being yourself, it's only so long that you can just pretend to be something that you're not, which you don't want to do regardless.
Right.
But being yourself, you're going to have some vulnerable moments. And those are the moments that other people can relate to too, because you might try to hold back, but when you give it off, that could be some of your best quality work because people is listening to you and they fall in love with who you are. And they can tell when they can tell when you in a good mood, sad or whatever. I mean, it's the same reason why we love Tupac. You know, I don't want to babble on too much about it, but that's the reason why we fell in love with Tupac, because his vulnerability, because he was able to talk when he was sad or feeling this way, his insecurities, all that. But he made it cool also. Everybody can't pull that off.
Right.
And that's something I want to try to, that's not going to say try. I'm going to take it out of my vocabulary, say try.
Word.
But that's what I'm doing with poetry. I want to make it cool to be like, okay, you know, I care for this girl, or I'm feeling this way right now. I'm a little bit sad. I'm a little bit confused. I need some motivation. I'm confused. You know, I'm not feeling right. So when you express that, it's not that I have to talk at somebody, but sometimes I could be that voice to when people listen to me, they can find themselves in it if they in it at that moment, and they can push it out and say it to somebody else and feel that they can relate to me.
Brother, what's your networking circle like? Like when you go out and do you do spoken word like at different like events or shops or like different poetry I don't want to say conventions, like poetry shows and things? Do you take it out and go in front of audiences?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do shows around here in the metro area. Of course, I do the open mics, but I also do be doing paid events also, because I'm gonna tell you one thing that's real popular out here in Detroit area as far as poetry and spoken word. It's crazy too. It's like an erotic scene out here too. That's a real big money maker out here for promoters out here. I also do erotic poetry also too. That's a part of me too.
Dope.
For the ladies out there. We'll get into that. We'll talk about it. But I definitely network as far as like, and plus let me show you these real quick. I have merchandise also. So when I perform, I got these laminated pieces. So, you know, I have laminated pieces of some of my poetry and spoken word after I perform. So I always like to have something to sell after I perform. And then of course, you know, give out your socials and talk to a lot of different poets and stuff like that. But the poetry scene here is definitely growing. There's a lot of different venues you can go to. Like I say again, you got the open mic scene, and that's what you could just do at your own time. You could just pop up in one of those and just get off. But as far as like the shows and the paid shows here, that's really big. It's not as big as the comedy scene, because the comics out here, they're network more shows. You know, they haven't really got to a point. I mean, even in just on a nationwide scale, they haven't got to the point yet to where people can trust spending money or that poetry is a money making venue yet. And that's another avenue I want to break. I want to take it to a level to where people can see that poets can hold a show just like a comedian, you know. Like you can stand on the stage and hold the attention of someone for a whole half an hour or an hour with different poets on the stage, the same way comedians do, and express yourself. So it's growing out here, and I know in other places too it's growing because it just got to be cool. It got to be cool, of course. Once the people see that it's a market for it and money can be made, it's going to get sucked up like everything else. But I definitely try to just network, and I'll reach out to brothers like you. You know, have a platform like this. You know, with a bigger audience. I got to try to be where the eyeball is at. That's the whole motive. That's the only way people going to know about me and hear about me. I got to be where the eyeball is at and where people watching. You understand?
Word. And I asked you that for a reason. I want to link up with you behind the scenes. I know we've been emailing, but I'm going to take your number down behind the scenes because I got a couple situations where spoken word is kind of really, the lane is starting to open up. And I know people that are doing independent albums, and we'll talk behind the scenes, but there's a lot of opportunities for exactly what you're doing. And I'm fortunate enough to have a couple avenues to where I could probably walk you into a few doors and till you take it from there. You know what I'm saying? So we'll talk behind the scenes. But
okay, I appreciate that.
No, I appreciate
Solid.
you. I say that because I was obviously in preparation for the interview. I started looking at a lot of your content because I don't want to sit back and be blind and deaf to what you do. That'd be crazy, right? So I looked at a couple of your spoken words and I really appreciated them. And one I had up here right now, and if you didn't mind, I wanted to share it at some point throughout the interview. And that was the Negative Souls and Hate Vacate spoken word. And that and the way you was flowing on that, Joan, really, it resonated with me. And I'm sitting here thinking, who is he speaking to when he's doing these spoken words? Is he talking to himself? Is it a target that he's trying to reach when he's saying these certain things? Or is he talking to a culture in general? You know what I'm saying? So what's the motivation behind the poetry that you create? Are you talking to yourself? Are you trying to target somebody else? Like what's the thinking that goes behind that?
Actually, to be honest with you, it's a little bit of both, because I feel when I push it out and help somebody else, I'm helping myself also. Now, these thoughts, of course, you know, I'm thinking it. So, you know, even though I'm creating a picture, I still want to motivate and get a point across. I try to land some type of motivation amongst a person. It's like when you create the poem, I just feel like, okay, start off. It's kind of like a story. You start off with the intro of how you feeling, then you get to the so-called problem or whatever. And then by the end of the poem, I try to get to some type of resolution to where the poem just resonates with someone when I'm done. You know, a whole complete thought, whether it's short or long. But that poem you talk about, that was the one I joined called Live Your Own Truth. I felt a little frustrated when I wrote it, but like I say, when I push it out, I feel like I'm getting a little bit off my chest, and I know, like I said earlier, I gotta be helping somebody else. If it's, I mean, we all go through the motions of different things, so there's so many ways you can tackle it. It's all about how you fancy it up, but at the end, just try to get to a resolution. But it'd be both though. It'd be for me, and I try to just talk to the youth.
Word.
And just Black people in general. Just anybody that's frustrated, anybody that's just feel complacent or discouraged or something. Just, you know, because I go through it.
Word.
So it comes out.
Word. And I appreciate that vulnerability because, like I said, us as Black men in particular, you don't get to see that too often. You don't see a brother that look like you that's talking about how he's expressing himself, and sometimes he does get down and he has to kind of let it out to feel better. You don't hear that shit. We carry such a tough exterior all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like we don't allow ourselves to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that from you, brother, for sure. So
yeah, that's real.
That's definitely real. Now I see you got the shirt on now, and I see you got it on through most of your affiliate videos. Intelligence is sexy. Now, I'm assuming that's you.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's actually one of my poems, but these are my shirts also. And for the people that subscribe to my channel, all the information there in my description. So you can order one of these if you want. This is something I'm pushing right here. Intelligence is sexy. I just want to push a nice narrative for young ladies to feel like, you know, it ain't gonna always be about their body or, you know, all the extra bullshit. You know, that we can push a narrative that intelligence is sexy, especially, you know, we got schools starting back. Mm-hmm. I think it'll make for a great gift. You know, the college kids and stuff like that. You know, just some type of, just a nice message to where people can just look at you, but okay, like you can elaborate on that. If you see somebody with this shirt on, you ask them like, okay, why you think intelligence is sex? or how you feel about that, or it's a conversation piece, but it's also a poem that I wrote also. So some of my poems I have put on the shirt, like the Never Be Afraid to Dream. And I also got cups also too. Never Be Afraid to Dream. This is one of my poems also.
Dope.
So you can get these too. You can get this. Once you go to my YouTube page, just look at the link in the description. You can get some of my merchandise.
Dope. Now, Intelligence is Sexy is definitely against the grain on what we're being promoted and what the narrative is being driven nowadays. You talked about women. It's a hypersexualization like never before. It was always, women were always pushed to be sexy in hip hop. I'm not going to say that they weren't, but it's something totally different nowadays. And now we even see the violence turning up in hip hop and the message going down south in hip hop. And I don't mean down south like area. I mean down in the shitter. Like it's not real good what we're seeing and what's being promoted. So how do you feel being a hip hop head? How do you feel about today's current state of hip hop, both male and female?
Wow. It's like, I just see a lot of confusion. I think they confuse. First of all, let's get to the root of it. Most of them high. They on some type of, they already chemically imbalanced. They on some type of exotic drugs, the alcohol, like you say, the hyper sexuality. They just feel like a lot of competition. That's what I see. And not to mention the social media, that's a whole nother drug we could throw up in there.
Facts.
So it's like they're all just competing with each other. They're all competing with each other for the attention. And so it's like everybody's trying to just do something more extreme than the next person. So it's like, as far as the music scene, when it come into play, how can I really explain it? It's more like they putting it out there, but it's so temporary. And it's like they don't even look at it like they're gonna get older, or they're gonna look back on themselves and think about the videos that they made or the stunts they pulled to get that attention.
Right.
They ain't even thinking about, okay, one day I'm gonna have kids that's gonna see this material. All the things they put out there is there to stay. So it's like they living in the moment so much. I don't really listen to a lot of the music though. I'm not gonna even lie to you. I mean, how much drill are we gonna do? They're already dead. They're already gone. I mean, stop the shit. I mean, let's get some balance. I don't get it. And I do understand that when we was coming up, people was mad at our music also.
Right.
And I understand, we did have Fuck the Police. We had Spice One. We had Gangsta Dip. We had all types of crazy music and stuff. I do understand and get that.
Right.
And in hindsight, I actually look at it like, shit. I mean, it may sound crazy, but like being a parent now, being grown and growing up, end up kind of sensitive about the shit. Now that I look at the shit, I'm gonna tell you, Sam, it's like shit. It's like Dionne Warwick and C. Lord Tucker and all them. They went too fucking crazy. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
I hate to say it, but it's like, we were just hip hop babies, and we just all pro hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that they did, they really was doing it for a reason, trying to save souls. And now we got to where we at now, and the music they make it now, I mean, it's killing off more of a generation mentally. And that's what happened first. They got you up here mentally, you know what I'm saying? The body is only next.
Right.
So it's like they just gone. All they doing is partying and fucking. That's all they doing. Partying and fucking and getting high. I don't listen to it.
Nah, I don't listen to it either too much. And it's so much, it's a flood of it. You know what I mean? You got new albums coming out every 3 hours. So it's like, how the hell can I even keep up?
Yeah.
The new stuff.
Yeah, you can't keep up.
Go, what you say?
And let me tell you something back. Let me tell you something back and backtrack just a little bit. Now, when I say I don't listen to it, I mean like I don't go dwelling and looking for it and researching unless it's like certain artists. Now it's a difference if you talk. Now, cause I'm from Detroit. Now it's a difference if you talk that street shit and then you put a little game on top of it, and it actually sounds good. And I can see you coming from a place to where it's like talent over the gangster shit, and you still got some type of charisma and game about yourself. But if you out here just moving sloppy and you didn't really put too much effort into it, but you put more effort into it just for shock value and just trying to just, be repetitive about the same type of message that's negative, I can't rock with you, and then my ears is not gonna even just take to it. Now, but it's a difference though. If you doing that shit with some talent, you know, I'll let you slide a little bit, but it's only gonna be a little bit time for that. You know, I can't get through the whole day with too much of that.
Right, and that's
Put
how
it
I
that
mean.
way.
When I think about like when I grew up, I listened to Biggie, and obviously Biggie wasn't the most positive rapper in the world, but his storytelling was second to none. And you can get and dive into them stories like you were reading a crime novel or watching a crime film. It was a level of talent that, even though the music, the
like
vibration
Scarface
wasn't
too.
that high, there was a story being told, so it resonated more.
Yeah,
we didn't go out and try to. He wasn't out there actually doing the shit that he was talking stories about. You know what I'm saying? But it was thought provoking, man, and
right.
there's levels to it, and I wish we kind of get back to that. Like you said, it's cool to talk that street shit if that's where you're from, that's in your environment, but don't talk about it as if you or talk about it as if you're throwing warnings out to other people that look just like you, and then you're gonna go chop their head off and then caught up in a legal situation or even worse because you're trying to prove a point on the record, man. I wish we get past that, because that's something we didn't do. We didn't incriminate ourselves to the point where now we're dealing with federal indictments and RICOs and shit like that. I just wish we get out of that for these kids.
Yeah. Because what's so sad about it is, see, here's the thing. This is the sad part about it. It's like they create these songs and these messages. First of all, when they create it, they trying to get on. So once they get on, and once they catch a little following or a little wave, they're forced to live out the bullshit that they created in their own mind.
Yeah.
So then they find themselves in a situation so where they have to step outside and be that person, that facade that they created in their mind. So then when they hit the streets, they got to be that person. Then they got to live up to all that. It goes back to what you said. When we heard Biggie and things like that, you know, we knew it was a story, but Biggie didn't have to just show y'all. Let me make sure that y'all see that I didn't kick in the doorway in the 4-4. You know what I'm saying? Biggie didn't have to just, like, he had to prove that he just straight up did that.
Right.
It was different then, but now it's like these people, it's like a whole package deal. You talk the drill shit, you talk the street shit. Nah, we want to see that shit. They sitting back looking, you know, everybody, they're like, no, you say that in that song, show us that shit. We ain't buying that next album, or we ain't listen to you. Right. Prove to me that you gonna do that bullshit that you said, or you fake. And that's what they up against. They put themselves in that position. So that's what they forced with. It's sad.
It's super sad, man. And being real is getting young brothers is caught up in federal indictments, man. I hate to see it. I do. And this is why it's such a breath of fresh air to see you doing what you're doing and how you're doing it, man, because I don't know exactly where you're from, exactly how you grew up, but we all kind of grew up the same way and got looked at a certain way. So I can kind of relate in that regard. And for you to be doing what you're doing is an honor, man. So I wanted to play one of your videos, man. But as I'm sitting here thinking, I kind of want to do something different. I don't know if you up for it, but if you are, do you mind giving us one of your poems live, man? You got a poem that you like, one of your favorite Jones that you want to drop live for the people? I think that'd be dope.
Oh yeah, I'll spit one on top. I'm trying to see what subject I want to hit. Where we gonna take it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna give you this motivational piece. This is a piece I wrote called "Know Thyself."
Bet.
Listen to me. Frustration kicking in. You see, I was about to grab a drink or just sleep it off, but instead I picked up the pen, thinking again what my future holds. The battle that's going on inside my soul, believing in myself and who's really in control. See, my heart beats to the rhythm of these streets. Violent news is the soundtrack. You see, I want to stay calm, but being held back, it makes it hard not to react. Because see, it ain't just the blacks. You see, it's the wealthy capitalizing on our poor citizens. We settle for less food injected with the stress. Look at the conditions now that we're living in. Shit. Gotta be a strong brother to be legit and not do the other. Because killing makes folk killing. So right now, these judges are not passing out football numbers. And every day I discover something I was already supposed to know. in the ghetto moving fast, but going slow, but somehow steady going inside a circle. Cause see, the pressure can hurt you if your conscience ain't strong as your emotions. But having faith and understanding is the perfect potion. You see, as we blend, you see, I pretend as if I already made it. Cause see, I knew I had the gift, but between so much bullshit, see, now my thoughts became jaded. See, this ain't nothing to play with. See, my kid's 6 senses 9 and got intense. So every move I make, step I take, nowadays I think about the consequence before the event. So that's why I stay sharp. The balance inside my heart, the good versus evil, and the ability to pick them apart. Know thyself. Rap talk. That's that piece.
Fire, brother. Fire. Now, was that you just come off top with that?
No, that's a piece I got written. It's called Know Thyself.
Yeah, because you start getting it's called Know Thyself. I was like, damn, if he did this shit off the top, he's somewhere different. You start getting your bag a little bit. I was like, whoa, okay. Shit, that's what's up, man. You got talent, man, and you're doing it the right way. Like I said, I said it a number of times, and I'm gonna say it again, man. I appreciate you.
Appreciate
what you're doing, man.
Appreciate you.
No doubt. Real quick, before we get up out of here, I wanted to ask you another question. Do you perform typically with music, or is it just like when you're doing shows and stuff, is it like jazzy music behind it, or you kind of just flow by yourself?
Most of the time I do it a cappella. But sometimes if I'm in a venue when it's a band back there, I might get a little loose and make them just catch a vibe off of what I'm saying. Because usually if it's a house band there, that's what they do. They'll just, catch my rhythm. But most of the time, what I hear is what people tell me, they be like, you kind of be talking like it's a beat behind you anyway, because it's like I try to talk in like a rhythm. And that's why again, that's why I come with the whole name Rap Talk. Because it ain't nothing but a conversation. I'm just giving up some game to you, talking to you in rap and in rhyme form, but ain't nothing but a conversation. And that's why I call it Rap Talk. It's the whole lane.
Conversation, but you have a cadence to it too.
Yeah, okay, appreciate that.
It's definitely a cadence to it. It's a flow to that joint that you talking. I feel you talking, but it's a flow that's going on that it almost still feels like music. That's why I was asking, do you have music that goes behind it, or is it just straight a cappella? Because the flow kind of makes it feel that way. Do you practice the flow, or is it that's something natural too that just come with the words? You just kind of feel it as it comes.
I kind of like feel it as it comes, and it depends on what I'm talking about. Because like I say, because like I told you, I do the erotic stuff too. Because I actually do erotic poetry too.
Right.
So it might be a little slower. Like when you say certain words, it's like I kind of turn it to a character a little bit. I mean, even though this my whole style, a lot of people here in Detroit, they be like, man, you just damn Snooping poetry. That's what some people call me here and shit. Like they be like, man, you so damn laid back, man. You just Snoop Dogg of poetry and shit. So I kind of move with that whole little just old man chill little vibe. But of course, like sometimes you catch a feeling with certain emotions, depends on what I'm talking about. And that's why sometimes with a lot of my poems too, I try to always keep about at least a good 5 or 6 in the bag that's performance poems. But I have a whole lot of material. It definitely once people go to my page there to see what the content. I got a whole bunch of different poems. I'll be sitting right here and I just read off sometime. And sometimes it might come across as more. It won't come across theatrics as me being on the stage, of course. But when I'm on the stage, you kind of catch more of a vibe. And most of the time I don't do it with a beat. I just talk that shit and let it come out.
Dope, man. Well, I appreciate your time. Rap Talk on Viral Hip Hop News Live. I dropped the link to his YouTube platform in the description box, as well as right here. Follow Rap Talk Poetry on YouTube. I'm looking at his subscribers right now. And by the time this video finishes, and by the time tomorrow hits, and by the time Monday hits, he better have 1,000. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's help the brother.
I want that G. I need that G. I want that G. We gotta get to that G, brother.
Gotta get to that goddamn G. So if it's 1,000 people that watch this video by the end of it, if it's 2,000, if it's 500, y'all are enough to get this brother to a G. So let's help him out, man. Doing great things, positive things, dope things. So let's help real recognize real, man. Anything you want to let the people know before we get up out of here, brother? I appreciate you.
First off, I want to tell you I appreciate you on the platform just for giving me that outlet, giving me this look. You know what I'm saying? This is the beginning. Like you say, we're going to build behind the scenes on this. I appreciate you.
Yep.
So I definitely want to just shout out the whole Detroit. I see my girl Hayes will come up on there. Hey, Hazelwood. Oh, there she go right there.
Yeah.
That's family right there. Peace. Everybody in Detroit that's doing their thing, keep pushing. We damn they got the algorithm right now. Detroit is building so much going on here. I just want to tell everybody to stay positive and just be productive, be busy. Just find you something to do. Find your purpose. I mean, get into your zone. I mean, if you gotta get away from certain people, a certain energy, and lock away, go on and do that. Because everybody here for a reason, and everybody time gonna come, and everybody got their moment. Just get away from the bullshit and understand things gonna be what it's gonna be. Just stay positive, man. Keep pushing, create something.
Indeed,
Rap talk.
man.
I appreciate y'all.
No, I appreciate you, man. Keep being great. Keep doing
Subscribe
what
to
you're
that
doing.
channel.
Hell yeah. I'm about to.
Oh yeah, real
Go,
quick.
yeah.
I want to shout out too. For the young ladies that's watching, I also have a Patreon page with all my erotic poetry on there. That ain't, but it is linked in the description on most of my recent videos. But this week I have put like about 6 erotic poems on there, but that's on Patreon though. So for the females out there that's into that and they want to catch a couple eargasms and see how the voice sounds and things like that nature, you know, you can get some of that. But on the real tip, all the other stuff will be on my platform as far as the Rap Talk Poetry. Subscribe to the channel and get with me. I appreciate you.
No doubt. You perform the erotic poetry like live or with your words. I ain't about to go check, brother. You my man, but I don't do that.
I know.
Fuck that. But how's that work?
Oh, it was show. No, I'll be doing shows here. Like I told you, like those shows definitely be in demand, especially around the time that's like we about to have, you know, Sweetest Day coming up. And man, shout out to Sadalis Production. They be booking me for a lot of shows. I'll be doing a lot of different work. It's a lot of different promoters and companies out here that be putting on live events as far as the poetry. So it's like I do those live, but most of the time there'll be a lot of other things going on at the whole venue. But I'll be most of the time as part of the spoken word part of it. But as far as on Patreon, it's just straight up audio. It's audio. It ain't nothing extra. It's audio. Just use your imagination. Listen to it, ladies.
Dope. The ladies, man, in the building right now. As you are here, or if you come on the back end, make sure you tap in with my brother on Patreon, and of course tap in with him on his YouTube, man. I appreciate you. I gotta apologize real quick because week 2 of the NFL season, we got to bust the Lions' ass, man. I'm a Washington fan, so we got to bust y'all ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see that here. we gonna get it together.
Yes, sir.
We play y'all. What y'all the Commanders now or something? What?
Yeah,
that ain't their off.
Yeah, that's us.
They changed the name or something.
Yeah, we the Commanders.
Yeah, the Commanders.
The shit will grow.
I think we play y'all next week.
Huh?
I think we play y'all next week, not this week, but next week we play y'all.
Yeah, we play y'all week 2. I'm going out to DC tomorrow for the Jacksonville game, man. So I'll be out there. I'm a big fan, man. Even though we be getting our asses whipped a lot, I'm a fan, and it hurts, but I'm loyal to my squad.
Oh man, shit, we the same way. The Lions the same way. Shit, we are. And you gotta have hope. You gotta go with the home team. I'm gonna tell you the truth. A lot of people in Detroit say, I don't know if y'all do it out there, but like since our team's so bad, they always give us back. We can have 2 teams. We got the home team, and then you can pick at least one other team that you can still support. So, we that bad.
But y'all loyal though, man, and y'all gonna deserve something.
Oh yeah.
Soon, man. So hey, man, I appreciate you, brother. Go ahead, my fault.
Now I want to say, oh yeah, we definitely loyal. That's just Detroit all the way. Once we rocking with you, we rocking with you. That's other people too. Like we support here. Like anybody can come here and do a show. Like there's so many shows coming. We'll be rocking with you. We coming out. We gonna fancy up and dress up. We gonna be there. But we love our sport team. Like the Pistons too. Pistons on the way up too. We got to get our shit together too. So, but hopefully we've been in conversation too.
Indeed, man. Well, like I said, I appreciate you, brother. Again, I know I said it about 1,000,000 times, but I mean it 1,000,000 times over. You know what I'm saying? And let's tap
appreciate you too.
Indeed, man.
Oh,
go follow my man Rap Talk on his YouTube platform right now. I got a couple people in the building. I need all of y'all to go follow him. And if y'all catching this on the back end, go tap in with my brother, man. He's doing great things. Rap Talk, I appreciate you, family. You stay up, man. We're gonna be in contact.
Appreciate you. Yeah, let's do that.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Indeed. You too, indeed.
My man. SamAnt Viral Hip Hop News. Listen, if you are interested in artist spotlights, if you are an independent entrepreneur, if you're an artist, if you're a poet, if you're a comic book creator, if you want to promote your stuff here on the brand, holla at me, SamAnt at thehiphopnews.com, SamAnt at thehiphopnews.com. But I'm about to get up out of here. We're hitting almost the 11 o'clock hour here on the East Coast, and I got to get ready for a goddamn game and a 3-hour drive tomorrow. So I'm about to get up out of here. Until next time, appreciate y'all. Take care.